Yes, sir.
Okay. The slide is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I have given the notes, okay, the respiratory system and the thoracic nerves. So you download from the WhatsApp. So coming to the respiratory system, that is the organs of the thoracic cavity. So here you see in this photograph, the respiratory system that is originated from the nostril. In the nostril, there are two anterior nares, and caudally you will get two posterior nares. In between these two, there is presence of nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is connected to the pharynx. Pharynx is connected to the larynx. Larynx is like this. And larynx is connected to the trachea. You see here, this is the trachea. Here, this is the trachea, white color. And trachea bifurcates into bronchus. This is the bronchus. Plural is the bronchi. And inside this, you will get lungs. So after bronchus, you will get the lungs. So inside the lung, you will get these bronchioles and the tertiary and secondary bronchi. Now, as my part is in thoracic cavity, so I will start with the trachea. So the PC sir will talk about the nasal cavity and pharynx, larynx, etc. So I will start directly with the trachea. So the trachea is a flexible, cartilaginous and membranous tube. You see in this photograph, this is the piece of trachea. These are the pieces of trachea. They are flexible and white rings. You have seen, I think, white rings. These are nothing but the cartilage. And inside you will get the membrane. So it is a membrano-cartilaginous tube. It extends caudally from the larynx at the level of second cervical vertebra. So cervical vertebra is here. So at the level of second cervical vertebra, the trachea starts up to the fifth thoracic vertebra. So trachea, the length of trachea is from second cervical vertebra to the fifth thoracic vertebra. So fifth thoracic vertebra means inside the thoracic cavity. At the level of fifth thoracic vertebra, it bifurcates into left and right principal bronchi. So trachea bifurcates into bronchus. Bronchi is the plural, just dorsal to the base of the heart. So heart is located here. So heart is in between the 3 to 5 intercostal space. So at the level of fifth thoracic vertebra, that is the fifth intercostal space, the trachea bifurcates into left and right bronchi. At about the level, now coming to the courses of trachea, at about the level of the third intercostal space, so trachea extended up to the fifth intercostal space. Before that, that is on the third intercostal space, the trachea gives off a bronchus in case of ruminants and pig. Remember, in case of ruminants and pig, you will get one additional bronchus at the level of third intercostal space, only on the right side. And this bronchus ventilates the apical lobe of the right lung. So that means the bifurcation of trachea is different in ruminants and pig in comparison with the horse and dog. In case of ruminants and pig, the trachea bifurcates first at the level of third intercostal space only on the right side. And that bronchus is known as apical bronchus or tracheal bronchus or additional or accessory bronchus. There are so many names at the level of third intercostal space. And that apical bronchus will go to the apical lobe of the right lung. At the level of fifth intercostal space, the trachea, all the trachea in all species, trachea bifurcates into two principal or primary bronchi. So differences in trachea is that in case of ruminants and pig, you will get additional tracheal bronchus, that at the level of third intercostal space, and that too on the right side. The trachea is about 65 centimeter long in case of ox and about 25 centimeter long in the sheep and goat. So it varies. It is more or less median in position except near its bifurcation, where it is pushed to the right side to accommodate that aortic arc. Now trachea, the position is mid-ventral, ventrally located. There is a mid-ventral, so it is present in the middle position, middle and ventral, that is called mid-ventral position, except at the bifurcation. Bifurcation means at the level of fifth intercostal space, where it pushes the aortic arc is present there. That aortic arc of the heart will pushes the trachea towards the right side. Clear to you or not?
Yes, sir.
I think they have joined. Now, during the course, the trachea is divided into two parts. One is cervical part, another is thoracic part. That means cervical part of the trachea is that part that is present in the neck region. And thoracic of the trachea is that region which is present inside the thoracic cavity. The cervical part of trachea is related dorsally to the longus colli muscle. The longus colli muscle you will be getting in the neck region. So when the muscles of neck will twitch, then sir will tell about the longus colli muscle. So dorsally it is related to the longus colli muscle. At about the level of third cervical vertebra. So you see the course of the trachea, you remember it originates at the second cervical vertebra. So at the level of third cervical vertebra, the esophagus moves to the left dorsolateral aspect of the trachea. So esophagus will go to the dorsolateral aspect of the trachea, and then in the caudal part of the neck to the left lateral aspect. That means at the third cervical vertebra, the esophagus will go to the dorsal to the trachea, and at the caudal part of the trachea, the esophagus will come to the left lateral position. The thoracic part of the trachea lies in the cranial and middle parts of the mediastinum. So as we know, the lungs is covered by two pleural sacs, which covers the lungs. Thoracic cavity is covered by two pleural sacs, which covers the lungs, and in between the two pleural sacs you will get a space called mediastinum. So heart is located in the middle mediastinal space. Cranial to the heart, the space is called cranial mediastinum, and caudal to the heart is known as caudal mediastinum. So as we know, the trachea bifurcates at the fifth intercostal space. So you will get trachea both in the cranial mediastinum and middle mediastinum. The caudal mediastinum trachea is not present because it has already been bifurcated to become the lungs. On the left of the trachea is related dorsolateral to the esophagus, and these are the relations. You go through it. There is not very importance, so you just go through it. So the position is important.
Some students are trying to join. Some students are trying to join.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now the relation.
Yes, sir.
The relation is on the right side and the left side. The relation is in the right side and the left side. This is the relation of the right side, and previous slide, this position is the relation of the left side. The wall of the trachea consists of 4 layers. So this is the wall of the trachea consists of 4 layers. A mucosa layer that is present inside, a submucosal layer that is in between, a musculo-cartilaginous layer, and adventitia or serosal layer. So adventitia or serosal layer is present on the outside. So from inside to outside, trachea is formed by 4 layers. So inner one is the mucosa layer. Then you will get the submucosa. Then you will get the musculo-cartilaginous layer. And 4th layer is the adventitia or serosa. Now difference is that the trachea, if it is covered by the body cavities means here it is thoracic cavity. The portion of the trachea that is covered inside the pleural cavity, the outside covered by serosal layer. Whereas the portion of the trachea that is not covered by the body cavities, for example, the neck region, the outer layer is formed by adventitia layer. So what is the difference between serosa and adventitia? Any organ, if it is present inside the body cavities, now what are those body cavities? The thoracic cavity, that is the pleural cavity and the peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity you will get in the abdomen. Pleural cavity you will get in the thoracic cavity. And part of the pelvic cavity, the outer layer is formed by serosal layer. Whereas any organ that is outside the body cavities, the outer layer is formed by adventitia layer. Now in case of ox, the trachea is composed between 48 to 60 cartilaginous plates. So cartilaginous rings, the number of cartilaginous rings in case of ox or cattle, you will be getting in between the 48 to 60 rings. The plates are bent so that their free dorsal ends almost touch. Here you see, this is, have you seen this photograph? Have you seen this cursor, my cursor?
Yes,
So this is the cross section of the trachea of ox. Here you see, this one is the cartilage, white portion is the cartilage. So cartilage is C-shaped, dorsally it is open. It is almost covers the entire ring except on the dorsal surface. And dorsal surface is almost touching the 2 ends. And the free dorsal ends of the cartilaginous plates form a dorsal crest. So this area will form a dorsal crest. So if I will show you the previous slide, here you see, this is the dorsal edge. This is the dorsal edge. The dorsal edge is formed by this area. In case of goat, the plates are bent to form the shape of U. Okay, here this belongs to goat. This photograph belongs to goat. The wall of the trachea between the open ends of the plate is flat and entirely membranous. you see here, the difference you see in case of goat and sheep. In case of sheep, the right area is upper, overhangs the left area. Whereas in case of goat, the right area, the left area is overhangs the left area. Can you getting the points? What I am taking? What I am telling? Can you getting my points or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you see, there is overhangs is different. Goat it is different. Sheep it is different. So in the sheep, the cross-sectional outline of the trachea differs from one region to another. In the region of the larynx, the outlines are almost cylindrical. So that means in the different regions of the trachea, the shape is also, the outline is also different. Some are cylindrical, some are lower in dorsal crest. In the middle third of the trachea, the outline is U-shaped, like that of the goat. In the caudal third of the trachea, the dorsal free ends of the plates extend further. So in the left end overlap the right. However, in fresh material, a dorsal crest is formed. The dorsal crest of the trachea I will show you in a practical class when you will come here. The tracheal muscle. Now here in this photograph you have seen the black color area. The black color is the tracheal muscles. Extend transversely and is attached to the inner surface of cartilaginous plates. You see, in this photograph, you see the white color is the tracheal cartilage. Both the tracheal cartilage are united by this trachealis muscle. The black color is the trachealis muscle. So this is the shape of the trachea. In case of horse, so this is the horse. The trachea is a flexible, membranous and cartilaginous tube. It extends from the outlet of the larynx at the level of first or second cervical vertebra to the level of fifth or sixth intercostal space, where it bifurcates into right and left primary bronchi or principal bronchi, just dorsal to the base of the heart. Here you won't get additional bronchus. The trachea is more or less median in position, except for its terminal part, which is pushed to the right by the aortic arc, almost same with that of the cattle. Here the cartilage are 48 to 60 and all the cartilage are hyaline in nature. So these cartilages bend to form incomplete hoops. They are formed incomplete hoops which are open dorsally. In the cervical part of the trachea, the free ends of the cartilaginous plate overlap with the right end overlapping the left. In the thoracic part of the trachea, the free ends of the cartilaginous plates do not meet dorsally. So what is the difference between the thoracic and cervical and thoracic part of the trachea in horse? In the cervical part, the one part is overhangs the another part, whereas in the thoracic part you see there is no overhangs. There is no overhangs of one part to the another. It is open. So that is the difference in the thoracic and cervical part of the trachea in case of horse. Clear, or you want to ask me some question?
Clear, sir.
Clear. Now in case of dog, this is the dog trachea, is flexible. Here you see the trachealis muscle is in outside. Trachealis muscle is in outside. It is different. In case of dog, the trachea is flexible, cartilaginous and membranous tube that forms the proximal part of the tracheobronchial tree. It extends from the outlet of the larynx, which is at the level of second cervical vertebra, to the level of the fourth or fifth intercostal space, where it bifurcates into right and left principal bronchi, just dorsal to the base of the heart. The cartilage number is 42 to 46. And in case of cat, 38 to 43. So the plates are bent so that on transverse section, the outline of the cervical part is that of an ellipse with its shortest diameter in the sagittal plane. The outline of the thoracic part is almost cylindrical. The free ends of the plate do not meet dorsally. Here, the free ends you see do not meet. There is opening. That is the difference in case of dog. In case of pig, almost same. Here it is overhangs. And the cartilage number is 32 to 36. You just go through it in the note. Now in case of birds. So bird trachea is completely different from that of the mammals. Now what is the difference? Here, in case of mammals, the cartilaginous rings are C-shaped. Whereas in case of bird, it is a complete ring. There is no opening. You see, tracheal rings are complete ring. They are complete ring. That is the difference in birds. So in case of birds, the cranial end of the trachea lies in the mid-ventral to the esophagus. So the cervical part is ventral to the esophagus. After 3 to 5 centimeter, it passes to the right side of the neck, ventral to the esophagus, and ventrolateral to the cervical vertebrae. So these are the course of the esophagus. In the thoracic inlet, it returns into midline, the crop being its right side, and enters the thoracic cavity. So that means, in case of birds, in the first part it is ventral, then after that it will go to the right side of the neck, and in the thoracic inlet it will again come to the mid position. Now the length of the trachea, in case of male, 17 to 18 centimeter, in case of female, 15.5 to 16.5 centimeter in chicken. So in birds it is different because some birds are very big, some birds are very small. So it differs on the length of the trachea. But I am giving the length for chicken. Here cartilage number is maximum 108 to 126. Now here the first one follows immediately after. So this is not important. So this is important. Every ring is a complete circle. Already I told you. The first ring and the last 4 rings are simple rings. All the rest are like signet rings. Signet ring means, so one portion is larger, another portion is smaller. That is called signet ring, with the broad part forming the left and right halves alternately. Here you see one broad part is on the left side, in another broad part on the left side. So the main difference is that in case of birds, the tracheal rings are complete ring, whereas in case of mammals, tracheal rings are C-shaped. 3 pairs of trachealis muscle are associated with the caudal end of the trachea. So trachealis muscle are present 3 different areas. In case of mammals, only 1. Here, the caudal part of the trachea, you will get 3 different areas, the trachealis muscle. This is the difference. Any query?
No, sir.
Now, mammals are having the vocal cords. With the help of vocal cords, the mammal can talk, mammal can shout. The animals cannot talk, animals can produce sound. Okay, so these vocal cords are present in the mammals, but birds can only sing. So bird, there is no vocal cord. Instead of vocal cord, there is another structure called syrinx. So syrinx is the voice producing organ in birds. So here I am going to tell about the syrinx, but I am not going to tell about the vocal cords, because in mammals, the vocal cords are the part of the larynx. So when PC sir will tell about the larynx, he will explain the vocal cord. As in the thoracic cavity, there is no larynx, I am not going to speak about the vocal cord. Now, in case of birds, the syrinx is not present in the larynx. Syrinx is present at the caudal end of the trachea. That is before bifurcating into bronchus, you will get a portion called syrinx. So position of the syrinx is different from that of the vocal cord in the mammals. So I repeat, the vocal cords, the voice producing organ of mammals, is present inside the larynx. Whereas in case of birds, the voice producing organ syrinx is present caudal to the trachea, just before bifurcation into bronchus. Now here in this photograph you see, this is the portion of the trachea. This is the portion of the trachea, and trachea connected with the syrinx. This is the position of the syrinx. This all is the syrinx. Now I am going to tell you what are the components present in the syrinx. So important. The syrinx is the organ of voice in case of birds. It lies at the bifurcation of trachea into the left and right primary bronchi. So in case of mammals, trachea ends into bronchus. But in case of birds, trachea connected with the syrinx and syrinx connected with the bronchus. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The skeleton of the syrinx is composed of 4 cartilaginous components. So how the syrinx is formed? Syrinx is formed by the 4 components. The first component is known as cranial or tympanic cartilage. Cranial or tympanic cartilage. So here is the cranial or tympanic cartilage. This one is the cranial or, this is the trachea, this is the cranial or tympanic cartilage. So trachea will finish here. This is trachea, upper one. The cranial, have you seen this line? From here, this is the cranial or tympanic cartilage. Second component is the pesulus. This is the pesulus in the middle. Third is the intermediate cartilage. So intermediate cartilage is this one. And fourth is the caudal cartilage. This is the caudal cartilage. So in between the intermediate cartilage and the caudal cartilage, you will get tympanic membrane, 2 tympanic membrane. This is the lateral tympanic membrane. This is the medial tympanic membrane. So these are the components. Now first component is tympanic cartilage. It is attached with the trachea. So how many components? 4 rings in the male, 3 rings in the female. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4 is the tympanic cartilage. Pesulus, it is a wedge-shaped cartilage that is present in the middle vibrating membrane. Intermediate cartilage, they are 4 in number on each side. So here it is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4. 4 on either side. Caudal cartilage, they are C-shaped. These are C-shaped. They are also 3 or 4 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in addition to this, there are 2 vibrating membrane. This is the lateral vibrating membrane. This is the medial vibrating membrane. So this is all about the syrinx. So how many components? There are 4 cartilaginous components of the syrinx, and another component is the vibrating membrane. So vibrating membrane is 2 different membrane, lateral and medial. And cartilages are 4 components: tympanic cartilage, pesulus, intermediate cartilage, and caudal cartilage. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now coming to the lungs. Now you see in this photograph, this side is the cranial side, this is the caudal side, these are the left side of the thorax, these are ribs. Some of the ribs we have removed out so that we can show you the lungs. This is the lungs, this is the left lung. Have you seen this area? This is the heart. This area is the heart, and this is the lung. This is the lung. Here, this is the lung. Have you seen some small white portion here? Have you seen or not? This is the rib.
Yes, sir.
This is the small white portion. This is the heart. You see, left side, heart is more exposed. Right side, heart is less exposed. Is not it? That is why if doctor wants to feel the heart, they used to put the stethoscope mainly on the left side or right side?
Left.
Left. Why on the left side? Because on the left side, heart is more exposed. On the left side, heart is more exposed. If heart is more exposed, then there is every possibility to get the heart sound. Okay, that is why the doctors used to feel the heart on the left side mainly. Now coming to the lungs, right or left, and are paired organs that occupy much of the space in the thoracic cavity. So most of the space of the thoracic cavity are occupied by these lungs. So there are word called lungs, L-U-N-G-S. Lungs means both right lung and left lung. If you say lungs, plural, that means both the lung. If you want to tell about only one lung, so then you cannot say lungs. You cannot say right lungs. It should be right lung or left lung. If you want to say both the lung, you have to tell lungs. Clear? Lungs or lung. Clear or not? Lung means only one side. Lungs means both the sides. So each lung is invaginated in the ipsilateral pleural sac. So as I told you, here the pleural sac is present. Pleural sac is covered the lungs. I will show you later on pleural sac. In the mediastinum also I have shown you, is not it? Pleural sac, parietal pleura, visceral pleura, I showed in the mediastinum. It is covered by the pulmonary pleura and is free to move in the sac, since it is attached only by its root and pulmonary ligament. Now, what is pulmonary pleura? So, pulmonary or visceral pleura. So, lungs is covered by the visceral pleura. The base of the lung is related to the convex thoracic surface of the diaphragm. So, the diaphragm you will be getting here on this side. This is the diaphragm. So this is the base of the lung. This is the base of the lung. This is the apex of the lung. This is the costal surface of the lung. So base is always present on the back side. Apex is found on the cranial side. Costal surface is this one, where costa means rib. The part of the lungs connected to the rib or is called the costal surface. The medial surface means, you see in this lung, here this is the costal surface. Inside you will get the medial, this is the medial surface. This is the medial surface of lung. So medial surface of the lung, it is divided into two parts. One is small vertebral part. This portion is small vertebral part, and larger mediastinal part. This is the mediastinal part. So the medial surface is again divided into two parts. One is vertebral part, that is on the dorsal side, and another is mediastinal part. Cranially, the mediastinal part has a well-marked concave area, which is related to the heart. Here, this is the concave area. Have you seen? This is the concave area. This is the concave area. The heart is located here. And this impression is known as cardiac impression. Now, here I am showing. Please see in this photograph. Have you seen this depression here? Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
So heart is located here. Heart is located here. So this is known as cardiac impression. So cardiac impression means the impression that you are going to get in the lobe of the lung. And that impression is known as the cardiac impression. The impression that you are going to get in the lobes of the lung for the lodgement of the heart. And that impression is known as cardiac impression. So here on the right side, this is the cardiac impression. On the left side, this is the cardiac impression. This is the cardiac impression. Very important, cardiac impression. The hilus of the lung. So this is the hilus. This is the hilus of the lung. Is not covered by the pleura, which contains bronchi. Have you seen bifurcation here? This is the bronchi. Blood vessel, lymphatics, and nerves entering and leaving the lungs. Hilus means it is something like a door in a room where all the persons can enter into the room and go out from the room. Getting the point? Hilus is something like a door through which the people can enter into the room or people can go out of the room. Similarly, hilus of the lungs means it is the point through which the some of the structure will enter into the lung and some of the structure will exit from the lung, and that is called the hilus. And hilus is found on the mediastinal surface. Now this structure entering and leaving constitute the root of the lung. So at the hilus, the point of hilus is known as the root of the lung. So at the root of the lung, all this structure will go. Now the ventral border is sharp. This is the ventral border. Ventral border is sharp. Here this is the ventral border. Is sharp and irregular. It is irregular. You see, it is irregular. Ventral border is sharp and irregular. It forms the cardiac knots. Very important, cardiac knots. Now see here in this photograph. This is one lobe of the lung which is forming a L-shaped space. L-shaped space, inverted L-shaped space. Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
This shape is known as cardiac knots. This is a knots. This is the lobe of the lung which forming a knots here. And that knots is known as cardiac knots. Now what is the importance of these knots? The heart is exposed here. You see, this is the left side. So their cardiac knots is, the knots is larger, so that the more area of the heart can exposed as compared to the right lung. In the right lung, you see the space is less. The cardiac knots is less. So the heart is less exposed here. Whereas on the left side, the cardiac knots is bigger and wider. That is why more area of the heart can expose to the thoracic wall. Understood or not? Very, very important. Cardiac knots and cardiac impression. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody? Anybody is having any doubt regarding cardiac knots and cardiac impression? Now, cardiac impression you will be getting inside. So this is the impression. This is the cardiac knots. Here in this photograph, this is the cardiac knots. This is the cardiac knots. Have you seen? Have you seen my cursor?
Yes, sir.
This
Sir.
is cardiac knots, and this is cardiac impression. Impression means it is the depression which is present on the lobe of the lung for the lodgement of the heart. Cardiac knots means it is the knots formed by the lobes of the lung through which the heart is exposed to the thoracic wall. So on the right side, you see this knots is less. Left side, knots is more. That is why on the left side, you will get more exposed area of the heart. So why, if I will ask you, why the left side of the, why on the left side, the heart is more exposed?
Sir, because its apex is tilted towards the left side.
Huh?
Sir, its apex is little bit tilted towards the left side.
अभी मैंने क्या पढ़ाया? वो तो है. अभी मैंने क्या पढ़ाया?
So the left side is impression for heart.
Impression nahi. Impression is the depression where there is lodgement of the heart. Cardiac knots. The cardiac knots is wider on the left side. That is why it exposes the heart more to the thoracic wall. So why the left side, the heart is more exposed? Tell me. Wider. That is why heart is more exposed on the left side. And that is why if you want to feel the heart, you have to first feel on the left side. Right side also you will get it, but less area. But left side you will get more area to feel the heart. The dorsal border is thick. This is the dorsal border is thick. The basal border separates the diaphragmatic surface from that of medial and costal surface. This is the basal border. This is the basal border. The basal border separates the diaphragmatic surface. So this is the diaphragmatic surface. This is the diaphragmatic surface and medial and costal surface. This is the medial surface and this is the costal surface. So this is the diaphragmatic surface. Right lung. Now there is a difference between the lungs of ox and horse. In the right lung of ox, it has 4 lobes. 4 lobes hai. What are those? This is the lung of ox. This is the right lung of ox, having 4 lobes. First is the apical lobe. This is the apical lobe. This is the apical lobe. Then you will get the cardiac lobe. This is the cardiac lobe. This is the cardiac lobe. Then you will get the diaphragmatic lobe. This is the diaphragmatic lobe. And you will get the accessory lobe. Accessory lobe I will show you in the here. Have you seen small area? This is the accessory lobe. This is the accessory lobe. So this is the apical lobe, right side. This is the cardiac lobe. This is the diaphragmatic lobe. This is the accessory lobe. So right lung is having how many lobes?
4 lobes.
What are they? लिखा हुआ है, पढ़ो.
Apical lobe,
Hmm.
cardiac lobe, diaphragmatic lobe, and accessory lobe.
Accessory lobe. And left lung is having 2 lobes. The apical lobe, this is the apical lobe, and this is the diaphragmatic lobe. So left lung is having 2 lobes, and right lung is having 4 lobes. The apical lobe of the left lung is 2 parts. One smaller pointed parts, these smaller pointed parts that is present cranially, and a larger cardiac portion. This is the cardiac portion. Actually, there is no separate cardiac lobe, but there is a cardiac portion present on the left side that comes under apical lobe. Okay? So how many lobes of the right lung? 4 lobes. Apical, cardiac, diaphragmatic, and accessory. How many lobes in the left lung? Left lung is having 2 lobes, apical and diaphragmatic. But the apical lobe contains 2 portions. One is apical portion, another is cardiac portion. Now, which lung is larger, left or right?
Right.
Why right lung is more large? Why the right lung is larger?
Because
of absence of
absence of cardiac notch.
तुम दिमाग बिल्कुल लगा नहीं रहे हो. कार्डियक नॉच के साथ क्या रिलेशन है? लार्ज लंग बड़ा होगा कि छोटा होगा? क्या नाम है तुम्हारा? Why right lung is larger than the left lung? Tell me.
Number of lobes is more, sir.
Yes, number of lobes. अच्छी तरह से बोलो. Why right lung is larger than the left lung?
The number of lobes is more, sir.
Why you are telling number of lobes are more? You are telling right lobe, the right lung contains how many lobes? Directly बोलो ना.
So 4.
हाँ, ऐसे बोलो ना. Number of lobes are more. ऐसे क्यों बोल? More मतलब कितना है मेरे को थोड़ी पता है. Exam में मेरे को नहीं पता होगा. So what you have to tell? Right lung contains 4 lobes, whereas the left lung contains 2 lobes. That is why right lung is larger than the left lung. Now, what will be the consequences when there is right lung is larger than the left lung? What will happen? If the right lung is larger than the left lung, what will happen? Can you able to tell about regarding the heart? So regarding the position of the heart, the lung affects or not? The volume of the lung affects or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what will happen? If the right lung, because in between the 2 lungs, the heart is located. The right lung is larger. Then what will happen to the heart?
The heart will shift to left side.
Yes, the heart will shift towards the left side. That is why you will be getting heart slightly towards the left side. So if I will ask you why the heart is slightly towards the left side, tell me, why the heart is located slightly towards the left side in the middle mediastinal space? Bolo.
Sir, presence of cardiac notch in left lung.
Again तुम कार्डियक नॉच के ऊपर चले गए. कौन है ये?
Sir, due to the more number of lobes, so the volume of the right lungs will be more.
So right lung answer will be the question. I will first tell the question. Why, if somebody will ask you why the heart is located slightly towards the left side in the middle mediastinal space, then answer will be the right lung contains 4 lobes and the left lung contains only 2 lobes. That is why the right lung is more voluminous, which pushes the heart slightly towards the left side. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Baba, cardiac notch is the exposed area of the heart. Okay? As there is less number of lobes in the left lung, there will be more exposed area of the heart. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है मेरे को नहीं पता. I'm not able to see your face. Let me see your face. कौन दिख रहा हूँ? Rana Das, open your video. Rana Das is present or absent?
Yes, sir.
Video open करो.
Sir, 2 seconds.
Huh? Okay. So, are you able to understand my point or not? There are so many things I have discussed. I have discussed about cardiac impression. I have discussed about cardiac knots. I have discussed about the lobes of the right lung and the left lung. Then I have discussed why the right lung is larger. Then I have discussed why the heart is pushes towards the left side. So these are the questions. The answer is in my note. So you go through the notes and we'll see. Okay, you will see the note. Then you will understand. So in the next class, we will discuss about the bronchial tree. So bronchial tree, that part we are going to see in the next class. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I will complete here today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You go through the
Thank you,
note.
sir.
You go through the note. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.